Turbo Black Pill. Let's maybe skip through a few of these. Ex-video game addict. So why you should stop playing video games.
Last, we are going to be talking about video games. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for 2 years, and I really appreciate the patience of those of you that have been waiting for those 2 years. It took me some time to collect my thoughts and to come up with something that I think is going to be greatly beneficial for you, because we are going to be discussing video game addiction today and the reasons why playing video game can actually have a negative impact on your life, and why I personally will be encouraging you to stop playing video games. But of course, it's not going to be a black and white video. I'm not just going to tell you to stop. I'm going to explain to you my reasoning, and I'm going to give you solutions, because at the end of the day, video games are not a great evil. They can become evil if you are not able to control them and they start to take control over your life. It's important that I offer this distinction because I want to make sure that I come clear when it comes to my background with video games. This is not a video by some boomer who's never played a game in his life and who's going to tell you that video games half and half. I have to quit entirely or else I don't quit at all. You might not be like that. At the end of this video, you might not quit video games at all. But I hope that I'm going to give you the perspective to limit the amount of hours you play, and also to understand the impact it has on you. Because even though I'm going to preach against video games today, you have to keep in mind and understand that I love video games dearly. It's a media, it's a form of expression that I hold dear in my heart. A lot of my greatest memories come from video games, and I have a deep appreciation for the art form that it represents, because to me, video game creation is a type of art creation. It's impossible to deny that, and some of the greatest creations of the past 20, 30 years were video games. It allies everything. It allies beautiful, stunning visuals, perfect background music and musical scores, narrative, the plot, the creation of a universe, lore. In truth, I even consider video games to be the natural evolution of creation, meaning that a video, because the goal is not
dangers of escapism.
Let us start with the general discussion about the negatives of video games. First off, video games are a form of escapism, meaning that they...
Literally, any type of fictional media is a form of escapism. So if you read a book, that's fiction, that's a form of escapism. If you watch a movie, television series, watch a play, that's all a form of escapism. So I guess all media is bad.
They help you disconnect from reality, and it's the reason why we love them so much. I remember being a kid, coming home from the day of school.
It's not even, like, that's not even necessarily true. There's so many games that simulate reality. So, like, racing sims, that simulates reality, and those are experiences you're never really going to be able to have. Like, unless you're a millionaire and then you buy, like, a Ferrari and then go take it to a racetrack. Same with, like, military sims. You may want to know what it's like to be in a shootout, and again, that's like the closest you're ever going to get. So it's not even necessarily escapism. It's just wanting novel experiences that you wouldn't be able to have otherwise.
Where I wasn't the most popular, I wasn't the most appreciated, class was tough, I got bullied. So the first thing I wanted to do when I went home was to forget about my day. And so I indulged in video games, because the video game was a place where I could be someone else. I could stop thinking about my problems. And that is great. And actually, I am not against that. Escapism by itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can become a bad thing if it's something that ends up just absorbing you entirely, meaning that most people like video games because it's a great way to forget your problems. But if I pointed out another method that people employ, like for example, alcohol, you would quickly come to understand that there is a problem. If someone comes home after their job every single day and they drink themselves...
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, and let's talk about sentient rock aliens. Imagine rock aliens discovering Earth, only to find we quarry rocks, collect them as pets, and simulate their destruction in games like Minecraft. Rocks matter, value them instead of
Yep, that was basically Neil deGrasse Tyson's argument when he was debating Humane Hancock, and Humane Hancock's a fucking moron, so he didn't really have anything to say to that. Thanks for the donation, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Appreciate it.
Silly to forget about the difficulties of their life, you quickly understand that this is an addiction and it's a negative one to boot. But the problem is that because video games don't have a visible negative impact on your physical health, many people brush it off and say, well, it's healthy escapism. I'm here today to prove to you that this is not the case, because...
Thanks for the donation though, Ben.
Since you constantly go back and revisit video games to forget your problems, you end up indulging in them, which becomes an issue in and of itself. By trying to escape and run away from problems, you create a bigger problems because you start to dodge.
Because you start doing things you enjoy rather than things you hate?
Reality entirely. And I know that it's sort of a boomer talking point of people who say, oh, you're going to end up just plugging your brain to the internet connection and you're going to just wither away and die.
By the way, you could say this about any leisure activity. Like if you have a problem at work or in your relationship or something, like a lot of people go to the gym to kind of deal with that frustration. Like, is exercise bad now? Because anybody could use any sort of positive outlet to deal with their problems?
The thumbnail that I used, it's a very common fear associated with the virtual, but there is some truth to that. The more you are going to, in a sense, allow yourself
artificial paradises
in the real world, because the creation of a video game and the graphisms and the environment in general tend to offer an idealized representation of the world, which allows you to reincarnate under whichever form you prefer, and also to shape your identity at will, which is...
Okay, that made no sense and is stupid. Virtual age of loneliness.
And it's a problem that doesn't just concern video games, by the way. I won't spend too much time on it, but it's the great plague of our time. Video games and the internet link up people, but they also isolate you greatly. Again, the Twitch paradox. You think you're part of a group. Even this fucking video, you watch this video and you think, oh, I'm part of the NS channel and we're all together in this. We're not really all together in this. You're by yourself. I can do as much as I can to help you, but at the end of the day, it depends on you. No one is going to save your ass. This community is only there and only exists to help you go forth, but it's not going to push you. Like, we're not a wheelchair. The goal is not to be your wheelchair or your crutch. It's just to teach you how to walk. And not even that, just to motivate you to do so. I'm going into territories that are not really related to the video, but it's what all of this machination of parts going to actually catalyze your aggressivity, meaning that you're going to spend it all on the game. You're going to shoot people online and that's going to make you feel better. But the problem is that this aggressivity was not a bad thing to start with. It was energy to be used intelligently. Of course, if you have the choice between maiming a cat or killing people online, I prefer you kill people online. But the vast majority of you are not sociopaths and you will have never done in your life. Is almost...
Alright, I think it's about time to just play some video games.